Oh, for sure.
Bam, we're live. He's getting a couple push-ups pre-show. Sevan has to empty the tank. Both of those.
Oh man.
Hey, good job on the workout, JR.
Pardon?
Good job on the workout. 268.
Oh, thanks.
Right? 268. That's 9 reps less than the champ got in 2014. In the fastest time. Hi everybody. Brian Friend, JR Howell, and Caleb Beaver. I was watching a little conversation that Rich and Angelo were having on one of their Mayhem videos, and they were guessing how many people would beat Rich's world record. And Rich guessed 63, and Angelo guessed 100.
It was right in between those, wasn't it?
Oh, I didn't even check. I didn't want to steal the show from you or JR.
I don't know. I have too many tabs open, but I think Rich beat it by a few reps, and he was 51st. So I think that it was probably right in between those two because there are a lot of pile up, same scores at that rep count.
Another thing Rich said is that we'll play that conversation in a second. We got some clips. So I went to Morning Chalk Up to where I normally do my research and Talking Elite Fitness.
Actually, Rich was really close.
What do you get?
The number of people that beat it is exactly 63.
No shit.
That video is from before the workout happened?
Yes.
It was literally the 64th guy had 277, which tied it. Exactly 63.
Crazy. Hold on, let's get that verified. Patrick Clark, is that true? Is Brian right on that? Holy cow, that's amazing. Everything Rich does is amazing.
Patrick watched him do the workout, actually. He said it was amazing.
He was there? He was there, or he watched it live?
He was in Cookeville. Where's
Patrick? What was he doing down there?
Probably multiple things, but one of the athletes that he manages is on Angelo's team this year, Kyra Milligan. And, she's recently gone out there for some training to go through the open season quarterfinals that you have to do to satisfy the requirements this year for a team. And, we had a good time when we were out there. So Patrick decided to go back out for the weekend. But he watched them, a lot of them do this workout, including Rich. And he said he wasn't even planning on doing the workout. He just kind of last-minute decision decided to do it with Tyler, maybe in part because Angelo had beaten his score by a few reps. He ended up tying Angelo's score with very little to no warm-up at all.
Wait, really? Him and Angelo tied?
They both got 280. I think Angelo beat him on a tie break, though.
Hey, I wonder, is Kyra Milligan is different than Kyra Van Ziel?
Yeah, Angelo's 4 seconds faster on the tie break. Caitlin Van Ziel. Caitlin Van Ziel.
I was gonna say one of those girls I just started following on Instagram. I want to say it's Kyra Milligan, but maybe it was Caitlin Van Ziel. I can't remember. Nick Schmidt, $10. It's not much. The hell it ain't. It's great.
Well, we don't know what that A in front of the $10 means. It could actually be not that much.
Australian. It's not much, but just wanted to contribute to the show to show my sport. Have a great show, legends. Well, thank you. That's really cool of you. I don't know. None of us are really legends. Not yet. Emma Lawson looked good.
When this workout first came out, the 3 people that came to mind that had probably the best chance to win this workout worldwide were Emma Carey, Mal O'Brien, and Emma Lawson. Probably not in that order. I probably thought Mal, Lawson, Carey, just because I wasn't sure where Carey was at, but I think they were all top 5.
How did Emma Lawson do?
I think she was 5th. 7th. Sorry. Didn't even beat Sam Briggs, so not really good.
Did you watch her video? Her and Jake Farlow's the video that came out of their camp.
I haven't watched that one yet. There's quite a few to watch, which is nice, but also takes time.
She's turning. I mean, she's because she's so young. She looks like a different athlete.
Yeah.
I mean, she looks 1 year more stout, stronger. I mean, I don't want to be a dickhead to her because she performed so incredibly well. But at the games last year, there were kind of some head scratching moments. Like, how can that body lift those things? Now you would never say that. I mean, she just looks like she's put on 3 pounds of just armor on her. I wonder if she's heavier. Does anyone know?
No, probably won't really be able to know either. We could ask her, but outside of that, I don't think she'll update her games profile. But yeah, I mean,
she's going from kid to woman before our eyes.
had her 5th in my power rankings, a couple of weeks ago. Obviously,
in the world,
to then, or maybe
in the
actually,
world,
nuts. I have her 5th. Yeah, I had her 5th.
Absolutely nuts.
I think she's a real deal.
Lucky Camera Straps, also from Australia. Man,
he's spoiling future parts of our episode, but we'll allow it.
Man, JR is fit. Wow, he beat Scotty Panchek, Nicholas Matthews, Willie Georges, Chandler Smith, and Fikowski. Willie Georges, I don't know. I wanted to start the show hot, but I've already fallen in. I wanted to play you guys. If you guys do not follow Brian Spin, you're out of your mind. Like the rest of us are a joke compared to Brian Spin. Oh, speaking of jokes, Talking Elite Fitness and Morning Chalk Up had nothing for me. I'm very disappointed. That is normally where I steal all my shit to prepare for my shows, and there's nothing there. Ugats. I think that's Italian. Is that Italian, JR, for fucking nuttin'?
No, sir.
Ugats. It's Ugats. You're not Italian, JR?
No.
Hold on, I want to say,
look.
I want to say something about Willie Georges. Okay, go ahead. Defend your buddies. Go ahead. And then I want to say something about Willie Georges.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, it's not necessarily realistic to expect the same stuff from Morning Chalk Up that we did at this time last year. Tommy and I and Patrick and Lauren were all working there, and now we're not. And there just aren't people in the space that you can get to replace the sports, quality of that. But I think they're still putting out some really good community stuff. So as far as the competition stuff, yeah, there's other places that are probably better to go now.
Shit, I wouldn't have been so mean if I knew Katie. If I would have known Katie. Thank you. If I would have known Katie was in the comments. I love Morning Chalk Up. One of your lit videos must have not uploaded. I was unable to steal your.
No, what you meant to say was they did have some decent stuff on their social media.
Oh, okay.
Charts and graphs that you could reference. You just didn't. You forgot to look there.
No, I want to go on YouTube and I want to watch them interview stuff and then steal it and pretend like it's my own.
Lauren did do a few interviews and content from the Proven Camp, but it might just not be what you're looking for. It's on Talking Elite Fitness's page.
I went over there. I didn't see it. Can you find it, Caleb? Oh, Caleb, by the way, whenever I mention Morning Chalk Up, we were talking about sounds. Can you play crickets? Do we have different sounds for different people? Like for Heidi Kroom, it's like swallowing sounds. I'm actually going to start a list here. Morning Chalk Up gets crickets. Sorry, Katie. Katie, use the bathroom. I'll tell if I say anything bad about it. I like you. Anthony TPA, JR is in the top 10 for Masters. Watch out, Rich. Rich isn't competing. His video submission, I saw his video submission.
You have not seen his video submission.
I did see. I went on YouTube. Nice. Okay. That was quick. Thank you. Hold on. Let's try that again. I couldn't find anything on Morning Chalk Up's page about the Open. I think it was Andrew Hiller or someone. Oh, Andrew Hiller commented that you couldn't see in Rich's video. Rich's
That's not his video submission.
Where did Andrew get that video from then?
A video on YouTube that their media team cut and edited together to show his performance from 10 years ago or 9 years ago compared to this year. That's different than what he would submit to CrossFit if they asked for a video of his workout. He had multiple cameras running during the workout. Andrew doesn't care to take the time to ask that. He just wants to make a video for people to like it.
Okay, settle.
Not even like
JR, do you want to weigh in on?
He doesn't care if you like it or not. He just wants you to watch
it. Well, I made the assumption while I was on the assault bike that Rich purposely cut out his wall ball target and therefore he can't enter the. And
that's on the viewer. Andrew's not claiming that. He just took a video. This would be like me picking out one Bible verse and saying, "You think Jesus is a great guy? Look at this example of a mass murder from the Old Testament," and say that Christianity sucks.
He flipped over the table, didn't he? At like a pawn shop or something?
Unbelievable. Why would you follow that guy and just not read any of the rest of it? That's what Andrew's doing there.
Sevan's losing his barn keys. I scheduled Rich to come on March 9th, or Souza did. So now I can talk a little shit about him. We got him. Willie Georges' video, according to Hiller, also wasn't to standard.
Space?
Because of the space. What happens there?
I don't know, but I was just going to be super honest. I didn't adhere to that floor plan for any of the people at our gym because it didn't make any sense with the layout we had. And I don't care. He's right. Like they wrote the rule, and so they should probably.
Wait, Hiller's right? Hiller's right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's right that there are, a lot of the videos that he pulled and showed in there certainly would not be to the standard for one reason or another based on what CrossFit expected from the floor plans. And I completely agree with him that floor plan was unnecessary for this workout, and it made it very difficult for a lot of people to accommodate, to the point where we just said, screw it, we're not even going to try. We have no one that's going on to the next stage doing the workout here. It's not that we're trying to cheat. It just doesn't make any sense for us to reconfigure our entire gym so that people can do this workout.
What was wrong with great pool, Caleb? I know I didn't even send you a link to that. What was wrong with that layout? All the shit was too close to each other?
I mean, they were just expecting eight feet distance between. On one side, you had to have, what was on one side, JR? The pull-ups, the rings, and the wall ball. And on the other side had to be the rower and the barbell.
So what's wrong with that one? What, the rings and the barbell?
Because the rings and the pull-up bar are often difficult to move or impossible to move.
Oh, but look, in this picture, the rings and the pull-up bar are close to each other.
Right. And the point that he made was the picture that they showed on CrossFit's website that has this is all the equipment you need for the open is a space that makes perfect sense for a diagram like this. But it's not necessarily like we don't have any rings that are attached to our rig for ring muscle ups. They're all separate and in the middle of the gym. So if I want to have a person do a workout where it's the barbell and the rower are both 8 feet away from the rings and the pull-up bar, which are 12 feet away from each other, then I'm not going to have very many people doing the workout at the same time.
I just assumed that those were minimums, that you could even be further away.
Well, yeah, but some people don't even have enough space to be 8 feet away.
Okay. Well, go back to Willie George's. His shit looks fine to me because his bar is 8 feet away from the pull-up bar and the rings. So I don't know what Hiller's talking about.
Well, I don't know what those lines on the floor all mean there. Where's his rower? Is there a person sitting on it?
Oh, that's a good question.
And the rings and the pull-up bar and the wall balls are all supposed to be 8 feet apart. So maybe he has 8 feet to the back and 8 feet to the front to get it done in okay parameters. But I don't think there's 8 feet between the rings and the barbell. This is the one where he put a life-size image of Batman and did his measurements that way, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Andrew Hiller, for the record, Brian, I made that part up. I was giving Mayhem's cameraman, Ben, credit for hiding Rich's wall balls. I said it multiple times. I was dragging the Buttery Bros. Oh, I watched the Buttery Bros video too. I want to give them kudos. It was a video, and the title was, "Is Mal O'Brien, going to win the CrossFit Games this year?" And they put that section right in the beginning of the video. They could have put it at the end. You know what I mean? Just to make me watch all their biathlon stuff first. But they actually put it right in the beginning. So I'm going to give the Buttery Bros a thumbs up and say, go watch that video if you want to see Mal O'Brien do it. By the way, she looks. Did you see that video?
Haven't watched that one yet either. I watched more of the men's stuff than the women's so far.
What did you think? JR, are you ready to talk? Get your vocal cords warmed up?
Sure.
What did you think about what your takeaways from seeing Mal O'Brien and hearing her speak in the Buttery Bros most recent video just published 24 hours ago?
She sounds about as focused as any person that's primary goal is to win the CrossFit Games.
Right. And I thought I was buying it. I was never like, oh shit, I'm not buying it.
No, I think she believes it too.
Yeah. And it was okay. Sorry. Yes. Dylan Val, hi. Are you crazy? Thank you. I really appreciate it. Not as much as Brian. Brian really appreciates it. JR, not so much. I'm in the middle somewhere. That's awesome. Brian, are you wearing rosary beads? Or is that a lanyard from the Games Dork convention you just came from?
No, a member from the gym gave it to me tonight. He says, Fat Tuesday, you got to wear beads on the show tonight. I said, okay, I'll do it for you.
I don't know what that is. Patrick Clark, we don't know what Willie George's hasn't showed the measurements, and we may never see them. It's only for CrossFit to decide. Sevan, mispronouncing a few athletes. Not true. Fake news. I didn't mispronounce anything. Thank you. Though.
Actually, you did.
Oh. I thought Mal O'Brien looked amazing, and she sounds really focused and calm, and it's a great video, as much as I don't want to like it.
That's what you think. But then you bring her home to be your daughter, your fake daughter's best friend. It's life-size toy, and three events later, she just kills you on the floor.
What do you mean? Is there a Mal O'Brien doll?
No, that was an analogy I made the other day about that movie.
Julian Ifford, 499. I appreciate the content, guys. Any thoughts on Haley not competing this year?
Sure. I commend her for making that choice. I imagine it's a very difficult decision. I'm sure that she's got, I know that when I was in Mayhem that she was back home. I'm sure she's, spent some time talking to people that she needs to. And it's hard because there's, she's been, like she said, she's been doing this for a long time. She's had a lot of success. And there's, expectations that people have of her and for her. And to be able to step aside and say, you know what, I need some time for myself, however long that ends up being, is not an easy thing to do, especially when you're young. So I give her a lot of credit for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think this may be getting a little too deep, but having daughters of my own, thinking about them possibly coming to me one day saying that they're struggling with whatever body image issues, relationship with food, and while also trying to perform at a world-class level in something, I think I would sit them down and say, is this what you want to be doing right now? I think you have some other things you need to figure out first.
How old is she?
21 or 2.
Yeah, I mean, that's the year you're supposed to get rid of everything you fucking own and get a stick and put a fucking red handkerchief on it and hitchhike across the country and find God. And if you didn't do that sometimes between when you're 20 and 27, then you fucked up. You messed up. That's what everyone's supposed to do. And she's doing it. Just completely, absolutely fucking normal what she's doing in my mind. I just hope she does it right. I hope she really goes on some crazy soul searching. And then I hope she takes a second year off and pulls herself out of the drug pool and gets juiced to the gills and wins the games. Like Conor McGregor is doing. Maybe God will talk to her while she's on that search and be like, get juiced up. Aaron Fraser, love it when Brian and JR are on. 1999. Who doesn't? Say something. Tell me something I don't know. Looking sharp in all black, fellas. Oh, thank you for the sweatshirt and the hats, the crash stuff, JR.
You're welcome.
It's cool. I won't let my wife fold the sweatshirt and put it away because then I'm afraid it'll just fall into the abyss. So it's just laying out on our bed.
Just tell her she can wear it then.
No, don't get crazy. Caleb, can you go ahead and there's a clip right at the top of my notes that says let's start the show hot, and we'll let the boys have at this. We'll just get right at it, guys. What's so cool about this show? This is Brian Spin from the Barbell Spin. Thank God he's around. He's Sevan on steroids from when I was a young man. What a gift he is. Anyway, this is fun stuff. I'm so glad that we have this kind of stuff in the sport, and I'm very curious how JR and Brian are going to handle this. Have you guys seen this?
Yes, I sent this to him.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
All right. If you saw my last post, I posed the question of whether Roman Kronikov's 306 reps should stand. The reason being is that the official workout description states that unless otherwise stated, athletes may not receive assistance with their equipment during the test. As you can see behind me, Roman's judge did touch the monitor on his second trip back to the rower. Pat Vellner, on the other hand, followed the workout description and did pay a little bit of a price for it because his monitor did not turn on, costing him valuable seconds and therefore reps. Vellner only scored 2 reps short of what Roman did. The problem gets really interesting, though, when you look at Adrian Bosman at the live announcement, where he did change and reset the monitors for all of the athletes doing the workout in Madrid. Take a look.
2014 did get back to the rower. He was able to complete 256 calories.
You can see him squatting down in front there. Now he's walking to the Dolores row.
All right, if you saw.
Okay, let me repackage this for everyone. I can't even believe this.
By the way, there are a couple comments on that video that I would also like to look at after you do your thing.
Okay, go ahead and play this one more time. This is, or you can just see down here in the bottom is Adrian Bosman. Touching the rows. So let me get this straight. At 3, 2, 1, go. You have 15 minutes to accomplish this AMRAP. Is
14 minutes.
Sorry,
you have 14. Everyone other than CrossFit.
You have 14 minutes to do. Nice, Caleb, slow-mo. You have 14 minutes to do this AMRAP. And once you start, no one's allowed to touch your shit, like your bar, your rings, or your rower. That's like a rule.
What it says it's the last sentence on the first page of the workout description for 23.1. It says, unless otherwise stated, athletes may not receive assistance with their equipment during the test. So that would mean can't reset the barbell, wall ball, can't stop the rings from swinging, can't turn on the rower, unless otherwise stated. If you go to the rowing specific page, which is page number 3, there's no additional information about that.
So the default is don't fucking touch.
Correct. And Vellner, in the video that he shared of his workout, as he's commentating through it, specifically says, here, when he did muscle ups in 2 sets, 12 and 8. And after 12 muscle ups, he goes, here, I go over to my rower to turn it on because I'm not allowed to have my judge turn the rower on. Unfortunately, it didn't turn on. And you'll see when I go back to it that it cost me about 10 seconds. And I'm just pulling on the thing and it's not turning on.
How many calories is 10 seconds? Is it more than 2?
It's not calories that he's losing. It's a toes to bar reps. He had 44 toes to bar to Roman's 46. And it only takes about 2 seconds to do 1 rep of a toes to bar at the cadence that they're doing at the end of the workout.
Oh, so that's what they were on. That was the 304, 305, 306 were toes to bar.
Yeah. And so in 10 seconds, he could have done 3 toes to bar. That's the implication. Now, the comments on Brian Spin's video are saying it didn't affect Roman's workout that Jake touched the screen. That's Jake Lockhart, who is his judge. And they're absolutely right. It made no effect on Roman's workout. We're not talking about Roman's workout. Roman's workout was incredibly impressive. And despite the fact that he has his hand on the screen there, didn't impact his score at all. 306 is with the reps that he would have got either way, in my opinion. But
let me ask one more question here real quick. Does everyone's rower turn off by the time they get to it, regardless of how fast you are?
Yeah, if you didn't touch it, it definitely would. I mean,
well, then how can someone say that? Then of course Jake's touching the rower affected it.
Because if you watch the whole video, Roman turns the screen on, and then Jake goes just to make sure it's
okay,
right.
okay. My bad. Strike my comment from the record, please, JR, from your notes. Thank you.
If you've got like a PM5 monitor with the LCD screen or LED screen, whatever you call it, as soon as you pull on the handle, it should wake up. So it should come on. The just row screen will pop up, or if you just start rowing, that will go away and it'll start tabulating work earned. But with like a PM3 or a PM4, you press menu back or display, and there's a delay of about 3 or 4 seconds, and then the C2 like all black pixel comes up, and then it finally goes to that screen. So like in Pat's case, if that was an older monitor and he said it didn't come on for like 10 seconds, that's actually pretty believable.
Holy and it's shit. And so 10 seconds, theoretically, he could have done as many as 20 toes to bar.
No, as many as 5.
But 5. One every 2 seconds. Okay.
But honestly, it's more likely that he would have done 3
He
more
probably
reps.
would have gotten 3 calories in those 10 seconds. That's what I'm saying. So I mean, and a calorie takes a lot longer to do than a toes to bar.
So anyway, it's I don't think anyone's implying that Roman's score is a bad score or a misrepresentation of his work. The question that Brian's asking is, will CrossFit impose a penalty for someone touching his monitor, or his judge touching the monitor?
Which would mean Roman's score is a bad score. And so are all the scores.
He could potentially get a minor penalty. Sometimes, they give 5-second penalties for a false start, or they'll give a small rep penalty. They have these things built in it. Hiller has talked about it on his show, that they have different classifications for penalties upon video review. So
3 references to Hiller, 2 positive, 1 negative so far in the show. 23 minutes in.
Okay. See if we can make it a full count.
Trevor Gentry, Roman did what the rule creator and director of his sport demonstrated. Okay, right? Pat did what the paper said. Okay. A CrossFit HQ should not be putting athletes in this position. This is a CrossFit issue, not Roman's.
100%. I completely agree. And this is where I was going to go with the Willie George thing. If you want to talk about Noah Olson's wall balls, or if you want to talk about the rower, is that they're just putting themselves in bad positions. Like, you didn't need to rewrite the standard for a wall ball after 10 years. You didn't need to rechange the configuration of the floor layout for a repeat workout. And in my opinion, there is a competitive advantage. For example, during last year's quarters finals, or 2 years ago semifinals, when they did Gretel, and Emma Tall got penalty for her judge stopping the barbell. That is to her advantage. I don't see any competitive advantage of having someone turn on your rower here. The only argument that someone can make is, well, it gives a disadvantage to the person who does it on their own with literally no one else in the gym. But even so,
don't you have to have someone in the gym? Don't you have to have a judge?
No, you could just do a video. But to get back to the rower, you have to go through the muscle ups. I don't think there's very many people in the world that are doing this workout without any other person there and getting to the rower, period. And even if they are, they're not doing muscle ups in 2 sets like Pat Vellner, and they could go over and turn their monitor on a couple of times if they needed to, just to make sure it's on while they're resting to the muscle ups, which they're inevitably going to do. Even Roman did 4 sets of 5. But and what if you're doing it in a cold garage? What if you do have an older rower? Like that can actually be slow to register, like JR talked about. And in this case, I think it was the difference between Roman and Pat winning this workout worldwide.
Trevor Gentry, thank you for the money, by the way. Okay. So this is a CrossFit issue. What do you do? We'll start with JR. If you're a CrossFit Inc., how do you handle this? What do you do with Roman's score? Knowing that his monitor was touched, regardless if it helped or not. It's that Brian's saying it's CrossFit's issue. Let's say they come to you, they consult you.
Well, if you go back to what the paper actually
here's
says,
$500. We need 30 minutes of your time. What should we do with Roman's score?
well, if you go back to what the movement standards actually says, it does not specifically say the screen cannot be turned on by the judge. It just says assistance with any equipment. And I think Pat's right on when he says, if
Isn't turning the screen on assistance? It is.
Sure, it is. But the people who wrote those rules, or when the workout was decided upon to be released, that may have never even come into play. Like, well, what if the judge wants to turn it on? Well, yeah, that's fine. They can turn it on for him. We don't need to put that in there. You know what I mean?
It said no, but I'm not sure if I'm understanding you. What it says in there is don't touch. No one's allowed to help any of the athletes unless specified. So if it said, it should say in there, yes, you can check the collars for the athlete. Yes, you can chalk the bar. Yes, you can turn on the rower. And since it doesn't, it's just a pretty explicit, don't fucking touch anything. That's the way I read it.
So your judge isn't allowed to hold a piece of chalk, and when you come over for the rings, they can't
No.
hand you the chalk
No.
and hand it back to you, and then
No. Nothing. I mean, that's the way I see. You don't agree with that?
I think it's a lot different in like Gretel or Ingrid when someone's settling your bar for you versus pressing a button on a monitor. But unless
I
otherwise
agree.
stated,
I
athletes
totally
may not receive. Yeah, I mean,
I agree. I'm just going by the letter of the law.
Yeah.
Sevan, I don't want to stay on this too long.
I want my $500 back. I don't feel like JR. This is Justin Berg. I want my money back. You didn't answer.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit much ado about nothing, because I'm sure that there are
We spent 27 minutes on
thousands of people who had their monitor turned on.
Oh, really? That's common? That was common?
But there's only one position on the leaderboard that gets paid out money for the workout, and it's the top spot.
Okay. Brian, do you want to weigh in? I mean, I guess if Vellner would have had his coach to turn on the
What I mean, honestly, what usually happens in these situations is an inconsistent application of the rules, because there's only one spot that pays out the money. They always review the top video, and a lot of times the top video gets a penalty when we know that there are thousands of others that did the same thing. They will not get a penalty. I think that per the letter of the law, they could give him a minor penalty. They would take him from 1st to 4th in this workout or something like that. It would bump Cole Grieshaber to be the winner of the workout then, though, not Pat Vellner, because they're not going to credit Pat Vellner any reps for his rower not turning on.
Why? Grieshaber fell in between them?
Yeah, he had the same reps as Pat, but a better tiebreak time by a few seconds.
Holy cow. And tell me, what is the tiebreak?
It's the time then you finish your power cleans in the first round. And I would love if that actually did happen, because I want to see Cole's video. And they always show the top score.
Oh, okay.
And Cole's a very private guy and probably won't release it otherwise.
Mind Blenderify $9.99. Sevan, when will you give us a candid first-hand account of what happened to CrossFit HQ in 2018 sometime, specifically in regard to the HQ firings and how that impacted open participation decline from then on? I've done some pretty wild shows on that. You have to dig back. I mean, I'm sure I'll do it again someday, but I've done some pretty gnarly talks on that. And thanks for bringing up a happy moment in my life for me. I mean, thank you for the money. Okay. So let me go.
Hey, I've got one more thing though.
Please,
on this.
please.
I think it's also
okay. You might get your money back if it's.
I think it's also important to make this clear. There are no perennial semifinalists or games athletes that are told to do anything but never touch the monitor.
Repeat that again. I didn't understand that. Repeat that again.
At every in-person competition, that uses any kind of Concept 2 machine, especially, they're told never to touch the monitor, that the judge will always do it for you. So to turn that off or to even think about that, is tough. And I mean, Pat's one of the few guys like, hey, let's read the rules thoroughly. Okay, cool. Don't touch my monitor. You're not allowed to. And then he goes over, and he did state that he goes over and tries to turn it on. It just doesn't wake up. And I mean, the fact that he had the wherewithal to do that and think ahead and be like, okay, I know it's going to take a second for this to wake up. By the time I'm done with it, I'll be back over and it'll be on and I can start my row.
Some great, JR is speaking, get with the programming facts. Patrick Clark, JR is correct. Mike 5240, Mike dropped from JR. August J, hail JR. My God, get a fucking room.
Mike dropped for Mark Hutchinson. He just texted me on the side and said, hey dude, make sure everyone knows this.
Yeah, Mark. Okay, good stuff. Okay, I like it. Good stuff.
Is sitting ahead of JR on the leaderboard.
Far fitter.
Is he an old dude like you?
Same Masters.
He's just recently moved up into that division. Yeah.
August J, damn, JR's voice just cut my butter. That's good. Shay Dance. We love JR. Who doesn't? Oh God, too much love for JR. Emma Lawson, when asked, she said not only did she check her weights, but she brought them from home. She brought her weights from home to wherever she did the workout. How did her boyfriend do? How did Jack, Mr. Farlow, do?
He did all right. Not great.
Okay. I watched the review of it by two Mayhem athletes, Victor Campos and some guy named Justin.
Victoria Campos.
What did I call her?
Victor.
Any more coffee? Victoria. Yeah, I'm reading from my notes. It says Victor. Fire the guy who wrote my notes. I guess they're going to do this for all the open workouts where you can watch two athletes review. Some guy named Justin, who's a tactical games athlete, also gives us his input. Victoria Campos got 2 muscle ups in 2014 when she did this workout. How'd she do this time?
Honestly, I have her on the list of unimpressive performances. Now, she was obviously a lot better than she was 10 years ago. She got 225 reps, good for 124th in the world. That's 25 calories on the row after completing all of the muscle ups. But as a person who's, in my opinion, is the fittest in South America, and this workout, by the way, I don't really think you even need 2 other workouts for the elites. This workout should be enough to just to determine who needs to go on to the next round, no matter how many you want to take. This is a really well-balanced test, I think.
Wow, JR, that's huge. What he's saying. He's saying that this is the one.
Like to cut to quarters?
Yeah.
I would say it on its own is the best reflection of fitness that you'll get from any singular open workout. Definitely this year and maybe any year.
Yeah, we'll see. There's still 2 more weeks to go. And although some people think that we're not going to have like a strength in quotation marks tested, there's nothing to say that there might not be one of those gated ladders, which I think is like probably the most well-programmed open workouts ever. The one that was repeated with ascending squat cleans, toes to bar, and double unders. And if something like that is programmed, then I would push back against you and say, no, I think this one was better. But the chances of that happening are pretty slim. And I think to Brian's point, if you want to just weed out to the top 10%, I would say this one is pretty good. There's going to be some people that sneak by.
I actually didn't mean that for the top 10%. I think for the top 10%.
Oh, that's what I thought you meant.
No, I think for the elite athletes, this is a great test, and that you can learn a lot just by where people fall on this workout. Now, what you cannot learn is how much effort people put into the workout, or what stage in a training cycle they're in, or if maybe they're just getting back into doing, high intensity metcons. But if we assume that everyone was putting forth their best effort, like Adrian Bosman assumes, then I think this test would be a very good reflection of who are the best, the fittest people in the world.
However, but that is what JR just said, to move on.
No, not for the top 10%, because for the top 10%, it's just a muscle up test. Because at the cut line, especially for men, between, for example, I got 5 ring muscle ups and I'm in 84th percentile. But if I had gotten 15 ring muscle ups, I would be in 6th percentile. So the difference, it's just a muscle up test. Everyone's getting through the cleans at some point. I think there's something like 12,000 men that had a slower tie break time than me, but they were better at ring muscle-ups. So I fall way behind them because I'm not very good at ring muscle-ups. So for the top 10%, there are other things that can still be tested to round out the picture, because in my opinion, for that group of people is a very specific test. But for the elite, you got a really good blend of stuff that favors tall, heavy athletes, stuff that favors light athletes. You got to be able to cycle a barbell. You got to be able to do a high skill gymnastics, and you have to be able to do it over one of the most all-inclusive time domains, that 10 to 15 minute time domain, where sometimes open workouts are 20 minutes, sometimes they're 5. This one's 14 for everyone. So I really like it as a first picture of who's in good shape right now in terms of the elite athletes.
I think Brian is saying, like, subjectively, if you want to say you are elite or you're not elite, you take this workout and you say, okay, if you're a male and you scored at least 280, you can say that you're an elite CrossFitter. And if you're a female and you scored whatever, 230, you can say you're an elite CrossFitter. Not necessarily that you belong moving on to the next round or not, just that, like, this is what an elite score is.
I'm going to show you guys a video that ties in right here with what Brian was saying about the muscle ups. I'm going to tell you what I think I heard Brian say, and then we're going to play this clip. We're going to start it at 7:56. It's Mayhem Athletes versus 23.1. What Brian was saying is that the muscle ups are a really important part of the workout, decided for people in the who are the top 10% fittest in the world. But here we're going to hear what Rich says about where the workout is won or lost if you're the best in the world. And what I think he's referring to is the top 80, 40 men and 40 women in the world. But we'll discuss that. So you guys think at home while you listen to this, what part of the workout do you think Rich thinks is the most important part of the workout if you're the most elite in the world? Action.
But I don't want to do the same movement 2 days in a row. I think
just about 30, 20, no?
I think like 20, drop down 15, 8, 7, something like that, or 15, 15 if you feel good. I wouldn't go a big chunk, because then, like, you're going to get back to the row. So try to minimize damage between the middle, because you can smash this, especially the second time. Yeah. And that's what for top athletes, the whole workout is the second row. And you're such a good on machines, just cruise through that middle stuff and hammer them.
Ring myself 3 times good.
I think 3 times. Feel it out. Like, you might get in there and be like 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 4, 4. Just see how you feel. Don't go into it with a plan, and then when it falls apart, you're like scrambling. Just by feel. Make sense?
Always work in the open.
Bam.
Smaller sets always.
Thank you. By the way, Scott over there, I gave Scott a call this afternoon and asked him if it was okay if I use footage, if I do show more than 7 seconds, if he'll report me. He said we would never do that, and I want to say thank you. I appreciate that. So what do you think about that? Fronin is saying this is won or lost on the row by the best guys in the world. You guys agree?
Well, first of all, Roman goes on to do his first set of toes to bar 30-10-10, just completely ignores what Rich told him.
But I also like this, like what Jesse is saying, Rich always goes by feel.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I watched Roman's video pretty closely. His first row split was 214, which is not super aggressive. And I saw that there was someone in the comments that said Noah Olson said you can lose the workout on the row. That's the first row. You can lose it on the first row. Roman could do that 60 calories under 2 minutes easy, but he doesn't have any need to. He's basically coasting in at 18 or 1900 calories an hour, 214. In the second round, 234, and that's from the time he gets on the rower. There was like a 10-second transition to cross the space that he needed to cross. That's not that much slower in the second round. He's pulling 1300 to 1400, I think, at that pace, and that probably is 10 to 30 seconds faster than most of the other men that are finishing this row.
Is that what Vellner did too? Where his I
didn't write down Vellner's splits.
You did say something. I think it was you who said something, posted somewhere, that basically Roman, if you gave 99% of the world's population just one of those movements and said try to beat Roman's time, you can't.
What we were talking about is Roman's tie break is 6:49. So when he got done with the 30 power cleans, his time was 6:49. If you compare that to most of the other top 10, top 20 worldwide scores, that's like 30 or 40 or maybe 50 seconds faster getting to that point of the workout. And the question I posed to people was, hey, if you just had to do 60, 50, 40, 30, 4 times, how fast do you think you could do it? Just one time through, it's over at the cleans. So you go touch and go, you crush the row, whatever, huge sets on the toast bar. And people are like, I don't know, like 7 minutes. And these are like really fit people that I'm asking. And I'm like, okay, Roman still would have beaten you. And he still had half the workout. He still had half of the time domain at that point to still work.
And just for example, Rich and Angelo were 50th best in the world, and their split times for the same work was 7:58 and 8:02. So a minute 10 slower.
Yeah, that's crazy. I did hear also in that video, this was interesting about giving the open, making it worth something. I don't know if it was tongue in cheek, but Rich told Angelo the winner of the open will be the team captain.
I love it.
Of the Mayhem team. Yeah, that is pretty cool.
That's some big scores. I mean, they're number one currently right now, at least in North America East. How are they in the world? Are they number one in the world also? Number two? Independents?
I haven't looked at the team stuff.
They're really, really high.
I did look at every other division, though.
Something else. I mean, this is just a nuance here, but the kind of shit that I would never think of is Rich said, "Hey, the clock has to count up," and it's like things like that. If someone made the clock count down,
specifically in the rules, it actually says, "Do not use a timer count. Do not use a countdown timer," and not is bold. And that's always in there. And they have hand reps.
That's good. I mean, you need that to get accurate split times, right? Or else you end up doing fucking math the whole time.
Yeah, they're number one in the world. So.
I got this from, I don't know if we want to bring this card up right now, but this was a graphic that Brian made that showed me, and it was the finishes that Pat Vellner's had the last 3 years in the Open versus Roman. And I'll let Brian present this. This is some pretty cool shit he put up here.
Yeah, so from the top down, you have the 2022 Open, 2021, and 2020 Open. And as you see, anything that's in green is Vellner beating Roman. I should have put actually something in on Roman's weightlifting there in the 21.4. I should have color coded that. So the only workout that he's beat him in the last 3 years in the Open was on the weightlifting complex at the end of 21.4. I just happen to know from talking to Pat that he missed the jerk at 3:15, and he was like, yeah, it doesn't matter. At that point, I'm just going to, whatever. I'm not going to try to go for it again. Anyways, it's a weightlifting movement. Roman might beat Pat on that anyway, if they, but Pat just dominates him in the Open in general. He also dominates a lot of people in the Open, as you see by his finishes, first, 20th, 69th, not that great. But the two things that stood out, Roman beat him on this workout. We already talked about that for a long time. And you look at 22.1, they tied on that workout, 401st in the world. And I think that says more about the workout than those guys.
Hey, they might be two of the most interesting guys in the Open to watch. They might be more exciting. I mean, without them, the Open might just be like, they make the Open kind of matter, at least at this point, like, week one.
This upcoming Open announcement, which is the reason I pulled all this information, is because they're going head to head in New Jersey for 23.2.
No shit, this Thursday, it's those two?
Yeah, yep. That's why I pulled this stuff. It just so happens that they also had that, controversial thing in 23.1. So it all leads in really nicely to this matchup. But either way, like you said, they're always going to be entertaining to watch, and going head to head is really cool. And even though Roman feels like this new age generation, like he's 28 years old, he's, that's like prime of the career, and Vellner's, I think, 4 or 5 years older than that. So it's not like this is like a 23 up and coming guy versus a 33 on his way out. Like, then they're both still very good.
Katie Gannon, Brian sleeping with Vellner. Never. No, what do you mean never? He'd sleep with him.
Yeah, when we get to the possible workout predictions of what we think is coming up, it'll be even more interesting, because a lot of the Open announcements that Pat has already done have featured very similar movements, ironically.
We need to get to that in this show, right? That's what this show is supposed to be about. It's not supposed to be. We're still looking backwards. We are going to look forward. Okay. Oh, let me get a couple more things here. We talked about Victoria Campos. I had to correct Brian, called her Victor. Mal was in the 3rd grade when this workout came out.
9 years old.
Crazy. I want to emphasize again that Buttery Bros video. I mean, if you have any doubts that Mal's gonna come in full power, watch that video. She seems solid as a rock. Yeah,
but do you have any doubts that Laura's not?
No, I don't. But no, I don't.
I mean, I am expecting the best version of both of them that we've ever seen this year.
Yeah.
The question is which version is going to be good enough to win?
Yeah, and I'm not sleeping on Emma Carey or Emma Lawson or none of them. But I'm just saying, like, I don't feel like I get to see much of Mal. She's one of the few girls that I haven't talked to, and I was just like, I don't because she hasn't been on the show. I don't want to like her, but I was like, she's amazing. She looked flawless. Rich's first Open, just for shits and giggles to share with you guys, was 2011.
Well, that was everyone's first Open.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. And perfect. Good point. I want to show you this video. If you could go back to that video, this has nothing to do with the show, but I just thought it was something worth noting. If you go to 130, I didn't watch the Open. Did you guys watch the Open live last time?
Running out of time. Let's go to a video that has nothing to do with the show.
Look at this guy here with the neon yellow in his shirt and his hand in his right pocket. What the fuck is that guy doing in his pocket?
Oh, come on. You're not Dave Castro.
Hold on. Keep watching. Keep watching.
23.1 is.
Listen, guys.
14 minutes
Listen.
cheaper.
Listen. People have been accused of doing stuff with far less evidence. Oh my! I mean, that is just unsporty. Beth, thank you. He's playing pocket pool. Oh my God. Barry my cockiner. He's jerking off. I mean, I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but easy, buddy. He's okay. So we got that in there. Just on note, Andrew Hiller seems to think that J.R. Howell might be the best coach in all of CrossFit, but I would like to give a nod to Jake Lockert, who programmed this workout 2 weeks ago at CrossFit Mayhem.
That's cool.
And the other thing I learned in that video is that Rich Froning doesn't own a laptop, which is like, I don't even understand that. Okay. My part of the show is done. And here we go. We look forward is to 23.2. First, before we get 23.2, there's some other graphics. Can we pull up some of those other graphics? Most impressed, least impressed.
Can we
some
pull
of those
up
cards?
the winners of every division?
Okay. Yeah, what's crazy is I don't even know those people, and they're the winners of their divisions.
Well, obviously. Well, one of the things I wanted to do with this show is to just talk about some of the stuff that not everyone talks about. So here's the men. These are the winner of every division for the men. And it also shows the number of registrations in their division, roughly. And then the top score and then the second best score. And I wanted to put the second best score just in case there was like a super outlier. For example, in the 50 to 54 men, only one guy got back to the rower. Is Giulio Silvino. He got 14 cals. Pretty impressive. Relative to his division. And then in the 65 plus division, the second best guy only managed 3 muscle ups, but this guy Maurice Fierro finished all the muscle ups and got back to the rower for 10 calories. Pretty cool.
Wow. We're going to need to see his birth certificate.
The thing on the far right is the percentage that goes to the games. So every division, age group 14 to 15, all the way through 65 plus, gets 10 athletes to the games. However, look at the registration numbers. This, to me, is one of the most embarrassing things that CrossFit has done, especially when you put it in contrast with what they do with the adaptive divisions, which is we have the adaptive division results also for men, which we could pull up here. And in the adaptive divisions, they get representation at the games based on the registration numbers. And there's only 3 divisions that the CrossFit thinks have enough registration numbers to get a chance to compete at the CrossFit Games. Those are the 3 in the top. And as you see, they have the most registrations, all being over 100, with lower extremity being over 200. These are the winners of those divisions. And in this case, there were some massive outliers relative to second place, as you see. But wait
a second, 25% of the look at the short stature one.
That would be theoretical. So in the purple is theoretical if they were to get representation at the games.
Oh.
There's only 20 who register, so it's justifiable in CrossFit to say, well, there's only 20 guys in your division. We can't really justify bringing 5 of you to the games.
I had no idea CrossFit had a midget division. Is that new?
Well, because you never will see them live because their entire competition takes place online. So the pinnacle of their season is semifinals for everyone else.
How tall do you have to be for that?
I'm not 100% sure. And but yes, it's not the first year they've had the division. Anyway, If you go back to the men's division.
Wait. I want to see something. So how many people from lower extremity get to go to the games?
5.
So that's a lot. That's good. Why are you saying that's embarrassing? That's a shitload. If
No, no,
only
no.
10 guys 65 and over get to go and they have 1,550, the lower extremity people are getting stoked by 5. Because they
I
have
think it's
one
fine. I think it's
seventh or
fine that
okay.
the lower extremity get 5.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fine that the 65 plus get 10. What I think is a travesty is that the 35 to 39 only get 10.
Okay.
So if we go back to that
see.
division,
Sorry.
and if you go and scroll through the 35 to 39 men's leaderboard, at spots like there was people that I still recognized and like notable guys I still recognize in the hundreds. It's just stacked. That division is insanely good, and it's only getting better every year. They have 35,000 people who sign up for the Open. You give them 10 spots to the games. It's a joke, in my opinion, that the 35 to 39, 40 to 44 divisions at least do not get 20 spots at the games. And I made this just to show you graphically and with some numbers
Beautiful.
why I think that they
What would
should
you
get
like
one
to
spot.
see it at? What would you like to see the 35 to 39?
At least 20. I think
Okay.
you could justify 30 for that division. They're that good. I think, and I think it's that entertaining. But I think 20 is fine, and I think 20 is fine for 40 to 45.
Is that the 30?
I mean, look,
okay.
yeah.
I
Rich,
don't know who
obviously
Eric
Rich.
Carmody
Eric
is
Carmody,
or Will Kane.
Okay, Eric Carmody, multi-time games athlete on teams. He's going team again this year.
Holy shit, JR, you're 8th? I
Yeah.
wouldn't know who JR was if he wasn't on this show.
All of these guys are good. I could tell you something about pretty much every guy in the top probably 20 to 30 here.
I've only known like 4 of those guys in the top 10. I know Jordan.
You know Scott Panchik, Jordan Troyan. I'm not sure if I know who Julian Lopez is. Adam Mancy and Johan Van
I think
Ziel
that's
have both
pronounced
been-
Julian, by the way, not to be a dick, but
Okay, he's from France, so maybe. Jason Smith, Brian Wong won this. He won this division last year. He's 14th on this workout.
wait a
Ivan
sec. Let
Van-
me see that guy's picture. That guy's not a fucking Wong. I'm telling you that right now. All right, keep Ivan Verdun. I don't know who any of these
Anyway,
guys
we don't need
are.
to spend too much time here, but just thought it would.
Oh,
thought
Papadopoulos. I know who
I
that
think,
is.
and I do actually think that there's a chance that CrossFit will make this change once they leave Madison, and that they will, like they do with the adaptive divisions, give spots a little bit more based on representation because it's clearly out of balance right now.
Wong was on the show before.
Brian Wong, I mean, he was arguably one of the most impressive Masters athletes last season. Won the games. He won the Masters Fitness Collective,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if he did the Legends or not.
Hey, I would take those short stature dudes and I would parade those fuckers out into the Coliseum for a final event. That would be awesome. And I would do it. Oh my God. Wouldn't you guys love to see that? Those dudes just throw down. It'd be crazy. Have you ever seen a sporting event with short stature dudes? Is that the way you're supposed to call them? I've never seen one. Ever.
Yeah, I actually went to Wheel Wad last year. I have an adaptive athlete, Noelle Henderson, that was just one spot out of missing the games last year. And she was like, hey, I'm competing at Wheel Wad. It's a big adaptive competition. And they had a short stature division there and all the other divisions. It was an incredible
There
show.
are other events besides the CrossFit Games that have a much more diverse representation of the entire adaptive community. Wadsalona in Spain does a great job. Wadapalooza has for a long time had many adaptive divisions there. Wheel Wad is a good one too.
Hey, that someone, I don't know where it is. Someone wrote in the the place would erupt. I'm telling you, those dudes would be those dudes. People would love that. Hey, another thing that people would love too is some one-arm like powerlifting shit, like that shit Logan Aldridge does.
JR, are you really leaving in 6 minutes?
Oh shit. Okay, sorry, JR. Okay, here we go. Thank you.
Don't ask me anything for the next 6 minutes. Just ask JR. I can stick around if you want.
Are you just threatening me? Okay. JR, are you really leaving in 6 minutes, JR?
I can stick around for a few more.
Okay. Can we pull up some of those other cards that we had, some of those slides? Let's look at the most impressive really quick. Let's go through those. You got a ton of stuff you're dying to get off your chest about next week, Jer?
No.
Okay. Victor Hoffer, Bill Leahy, Taylor Wade, Ludwig Hansen, Rich Froning, Bronislaw Olenkowicz, Rob Forte, James Howell. These make Brian Friend's most impressive performances for 23.1.
And for a variety of reasons. Like Victor's only 19 years old. I think he's up and comer. Unquestionably, he's up and comer in Europe. I just don't know how fast he can be as good as he needs to make it. If we eventually get to this slide that shows how screwed over Europe is getting this season, then you can see why. But very impressive performance to him to start off the Open. Bill Leahy and Ludwig Hansen are probably the two that I really took note of here, because we haven't seen anything from them after extremely impressive semifinal performances last year. I think probably more people noticed Bill than Ludwig, just because of where he competed, who he competed against, and the fact that he had a world record in the Lagos rope climb shuttle run event. But both of those guys caught me off guard, meaning I didn't know them before. I immediately took note of them after semifinals. Haven't seen anything this offseason. Very good start to the Open. So those are two names I would be on the lookout as potential dark horse picks to get the last couple spots in their semifinals to the games this year. Actually,
is Rob Forte? Is he in Masters?
Yeah,
he is.
He was on that.
Okay.
Yeah, he was on that list with JR, and three of these guys are Masters. But
is JR on there just because he's your friend, or because
yes,
that's really good?
Yes.
Just actually, it's just
he needs to be removed.
JR, what do you think? 23. Calm down, Anthony. Calm down. We're almost there. Let's look at the most impressive women. Thank you, Brian, for a summation of that.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, JR.
No, don't be sorry. Fuck him. Don't let him intimidate you. Just because his beard will be longer than yours in the next 10 minutes. Emma Carey, Sam Briggs won it last in 2014. Lori Clement, Helena Collins, Jessica Schwartz. Oh, I think she was on one of my fantasy fitness league teams. I picked her because she was a Jew. No, I did.
Oh, okay.
China Cho. Wow, I haven't heard that name in a while. And Lucy
McGonigal. She's 16.
Oh, that's a great name, McGonigal. God,
there was someone else. Trista Smith is also young and actually did better than Lucy on this workout. But yeah, I mean, Emma Carey, obviously impressive. I put her on the list because I didn't know how good she would do on this. But don't forget that 2 years ago, she was phenomenal in the Open. I mean, she is like, we should expect her to be in the top 5 on pretty much any Open workout that comes up. Sam Briggs, Lori Clement is also a Masters athlete, 35 to 39, and she was 4th place worldwide in the Open last year. Has another amazing performance here. Helena Collins is 34. I didn't even know China Cho. Like, I don't even think she's really competing anymore. She finished top 100 in the world. It's just insane. I put Jessica Schwartz on the list because I don't know what you're talking about. If you actually did draft her on the fantasy team.
I did. On one of the first fantasy fitness league things we did. You remember that, Jared? Not on when I was on JR's team.
Yeah, I remember.
Anyway,
thanks.
She competed in 4 different regionals in the 2015 through 18, I think, in the Central. She didn't really do that great there. I haven't seen a ton from her since then, but this is a really good performance. I think she's coming back. She's 25 years old now, so she could be a sneaky name to watch also. So
Lori Clement is the games champ. She won the Masters, right?
Did she win it last year?
She was the one I was criticizing. I think that should have gone to Wadapalooza and got the money. No? It's like, come on, girl. I don't want to say she won the 35 to 39. Good stuff, Brian. Was definitely impressed with China Cho, badass, and of course Briggs. What a couple of beasts! I know Briggs. Maybe we should get Briggs back on the show.
She did not. She definitely did not win the game. She didn't even make the games last year. She did great in the Open. I don't think.
Who won females last year?
Amelia Lepinen.
Oh, okay, yeah, Amelia. Sorry, you're the one I was mad at, Amelia.
And then Whitney Gallant, I think the year before.
How did Jamie Latimer do?
What?
She's on the first. She's on the first page, I think.
Oh, she is. All right. She listens to the show. She's come on a few times. What about Dan Bailey? Just kidding. Okay. Least impressive. Who? Let's stomp on some people's.
No, these are all relative, by the way.
Yeah.
There's still some really good scores here. But basically, I was thinking.
That breaks my heart. I like those guys.
I know, but those top 3 guys, and possibly even Nick Matthew, if you told me they were 4 of the top 10 in the world on this workout, I would have said, yeah, I believe that. And look at where they're finishing. It's surprising. Like I said earlier, we have no idea what their fitness level is at. I don't know how much effort they put into it. They just could have just woken up one morning and done it, got on with their training and not cared. I'm not sure. I just was expecting, and especially Saxon. I mean, this guy is like, he's just like, mark him down as a top 5 Open finish every year. 77th on this workout. He's one of the best in the world at ring muscle ups, and there's nothing else in here he shouldn't be good at. So I was surprised. And basically, you could say the same for every one of these guys. I mean, we're talking about from Saxon all the way down this list to Chandler Smith. Every one of those guys, you're expecting to be top 20 in the world. Like realistically, could be top 20 in the world at the games this year. And they're finishing some of them outside of the top 200 on a workout that should be pretty much a slam dunk if you're one of the top 20 fittest in the world.
There's one guy on there I've never even heard of, and it's probably a compliment that he made it on the list that you even know who he is. Do you know who I'm talking
Bailey
about?
Martin?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. How'd you know? I have no fucking idea who that is.
He was really impressive last year at Torian Pro.
And he's like this guy, but sometimes I say this, some people have all the tools and for whatever reason, they just can't put it together. And it's like everything I know about this guy, that he had one problem at semifinals last year, or maybe he had two, but I think it was ring muscle ups. And if that was a problem again this year, and he's a young kid and he's struggling to learn that, especially to get, not to learn it, but to become proficient at it, to compete with the top guys, it's going to be hard. It's always going to be hard for him to make it. So I was hoping he'd do better on this than he did.
He's pretty stoked Baden's gone, I guess, right? Isn't Baden an Australian?
Yeah. And Royce is not competing on a team this year, or he's competing on a team this year, not individual. So there is a little bit of opportunity in Oceania, but there are some other guys there that he's going to have to beat that are coming that are very good, that did pretty well on this workout.
Did Scott beat his brothers in this workout?
No. He no.
Okay. Unimpressive performances by women. Nothing to say about Medeiros, right? Like, hey, it's the champ. Like, we have nothing to say. He's the champ.
I don't know. I don't have the data in front of me now, but I did an article about his open performance the year before he won the games, and it was pretty bad relative to other games champions. But the next year, he did pretty well in the open. So, I would if Matt Fraser showed up and got 75th in the world on a workout like this, the world would be going crazy. That would never happen.
Is that true, JR, what he just said? Is that what it's true? We have different expectations from Medeiros versus Fraser.
If you're the games champion, you should not be finishing 75th on this workout. You should be able. I mean, look, Rich Froning rolled out of bed, wasn't planning to do the workout, and beat him on this. It's embarrassingly bad for someone who's won the games twice in a row. Now, like I said, there could be a ton of other stuff going on that we don't know about, but I would think that on any given day, he should be able to get 290 reps.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different things. I mean, maybe he's had a small shoulder tweak and he hasn't done ring muscle ups since Rogue. Maybe on Wednesday in his training, he did 30 strict and 50 kipping ring muscle ups because he was like, first week in the open, there's no way that they'll have muscle ups. We don't know anything like that.
If that was the case, he has 4 days to do it, and you could wait 6 days after it to do it again on Monday, and he should be able to do it on Monday morning and get 290 reps.
But then you're factoring in ego and not just that it's just another training piece. Like, does he need to wait a couple more days and throw his training off just to make sure that his score is respectable to the average population?
Did Brian have that wrong? Is Justin 24th?
Oh, I made these 84th? Earlier today. The scores are not final. Those are all unofficial based on when I made them earlier today. I don't think that even validations are due until sometime tomorrow. So the leaderboard won't be finalized today.
Okay. Heidi says, I agree, Brian. Do you want to come over and spend the night? Oh, yeah, that's nice.
She knows she always has to come here.
Okay. There you go. Your pillows are too hard. Okay. Women who have been a major disappointment.
Not a major disappointment. Just I'm surprised with where they finished on this workout. And again, you're looking at mostly names that you recognize here. I would have thought Emma McQuaid could be top 10 on this workout. So to finish outside the top 100, bit surprising. Danielle Brandon, that's someone that people are talking about could potentially podium at the games this year. Some people even think she's an outside chance to win the games this year. 71st on this workout's not that great. And then, you just go on down the line. We talked about Victoria earlier. She's basically the fittest in South America right now. I'd like to see the fittest in South America be able to finish probably inside the top 50 on a workout like this. Chloe Wilson's the one that's maybe most interesting to me here. When I put out my power rankings, I had her 48th, and I got several people message me saying she's way better than that. She's going to make the games this year. And like I've been saying throughout this entire show, if you're good enough to make the games and to compete at the games, you should be able to finish inside the top 50 on this workout pretty handily.
What would you say if, yeah, especially for the female elite, it generally becomes more of just a ring muscle up test and doesn't really have anything to do with the second row or anything else. What would you say if I told you that this muscle up also is just a grip test, and that, like we see with legless rope climbs like we did last year at semifinals, or just a very, very grip specific test that sometimes there are outliers that just don't perform based on that one energy system?
Yeah, and I would say that in that case, this list, you could delineate certain things. Like if you're Amanda Barnhart at this point, who's making a you got upset when Morning Chalk-Up put out a 15th best woman in the world and you weren't on it because you've been inside the top 10 in the world 4 straight years or something like that, your grip should be elite. And you shouldn't have grip as an issue. And you should be at this point. I mean, I mentioned something about Amanda a couple of weeks ago that she's putting out this thing on her Instagram. We're getting strong this offseason. And I was like, why are you getting strong? You're already strong. You're one of the strongest. You need to be like shoring up the things that have been preventing you from making progress at the games field. The reason that you keep finishing in the same spot. And this is one of those examples, perhaps.
Are you saying that, JR, that this is a grip test?
I think it definitely is for a lot of people. And even for some of the elites, I think that might be the thing that's holding them back. When they get to the rings, it's more of just them hanging and just having so much blood there in their forearms and their biceps versus, the transition or the dip actually being difficult. It's more just that they're so blown up from all the grip leading up to that point.
And with this list in particular, on the flip side of Amanda Barnhart, you could look at someone like Ellie Turner. She's a lot newer in the sport. And I would say if her grip isn't up to elite standards, especially given her body type, then I could understand that. And then you have Elisa Fuliano, who's gymnast and, generally does great on gymnastics workouts. She was very impressive at Wadapalooza. So like I said, it's not that any of these workouts or scores were bad. Obviously, they all got back to the rings or to the rower and got a variety of different calories. They just weren't what I would expect from someone who I have a certain standard or level of expectation for in terms of their fitness in general on a test that I think should be very favorable to the fittest athletes.
By the way, Jason Hopper is making the move to Vermont to train full time. Sorry, JR.
Huh.
Is that fact?
True or false? Facts? I'm sure JR has no idea.
Yep.
It's official, folks.
Yeah, I've known about that for many months now.
Well, thanks for sharing it with us. We believe it's just the next step, and we're stoked to see where it's taken. Well, it was nice knowing you, Hopper. I hope that you get more than the one obligatory video they make of you a year. And yeah. Hey, going back to that, what we were talking about. Oh, did any women make it off the rower?
Yes. Laura Horvath, Mal O'Brien, and Emma Carey.
Wow.
Maybe Jacqueline Dahlstrom.
And I think I asked that on the show. I think I asked that last week, and we didn't think any women would make it off the rower. Is that right?
I don't know. I don't
remember predicting that.
Oh, okay.
Well, I wasn't on that show because that was been a show after it was announced.
Oh, okay. Maybe I just made that up. I may have just made that up. Well, good.
Before we go to, if it's okay with JR, before we go to 23.2, can we show the athletes by continent in the top 100?
That's a really good chart to look at.
Do you know what I'm talking about, Sevan? You look confused.
Oh, yeah. I did see this. I didn't think anything. I thought this was good. I like this. I didn't think anyone's getting fucked. You're worried about Europe only getting half as many game spots, but they got just as many people in the top 100. Is this for dudes or women right here?
This is women.
Okay.
So this is athletes in the top 100 on this workout worldwide. And it's obviously a super small sample size, but I think it's actually better representation than the worldwide rankings. Or at least as good, probably better representation. And remember, North America is split into 2. So the European competitive region has 41 in the top 100, 40%.
Okay.
North America East has 24. That's 25%.
Okay.
They get the same number as guaranteed spots, which is 5. And then North America West has 22 spots, the least amount. They also get 5. So they have almost half as many, or they have twice as many as the other as the North American competitive regions, rounding, but they get half as many spots as North America total.
So what do you want to do? You want to give them a couple? You want to make it 8 and 7?
I want the worldwide rankings to actually reflect the competitive field that we currently have, and it's
but if
impossible
I
to do
use
it.
that, I let me just play devil's advocate here for a second. With that logic, we got to take Oceania down to 1.
I've already told you that I think every competitive region should be guaranteed one, and then earn the rest of them with a system that actually allows you to do that.
I'd like to see the top. I see. Yeah. Okay. I can't. I don't want to argue with you because you're right. But
Yeah, and remember, this is one workout.
Yeah.
And even after a 3-week open, we could put the same graphic up and see who finished where. And chances are people are going to say, well, this is three tests. This is not a test of overall fitness. Maybe they don't go super long. Maybe they don't have a lot of monostructural. Maybe they don't test strength in the way that we're typically used to seeing it tested, like at a semifinals level. But I still think that, I think Dave was really, really big in the past. And I know the open was 5 years, almost all the way up until this last year, that people used to say all the time, whoever won the open, it was a really, really good indication of who might be in contention to win the games, because for so long it was such a good correlate.
And there was the right amount of pressure on him. I do want to say this, though. This is why it's hard to argue with Brian, because the top 100 is where that's where was it the strength of field? Is that what it is? Where it's taken from? It's taken from the top 100 people.
Yeah, and
how many in the top 100?
Because I would like to see the top 3. I'd like to see this redone, this chart with the top 300, but I think.
Well, I counted them all manually, so it's kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I think it would be hard to. Well, good job.
But
no one's publishing any of this shit. Well, why are you doing all of this? Where are you putting all of this?
Right here, for now.
Well, thank you.
That might change soon. I don't know. But anyway, I did this. We did this on the last show. I took my own personal power rankings. I took last year's quarterfinals, and I took the worldwide rankings that they currently have. And this is very much in line with what the quarterfinals was last year in terms of the distribution. It's very similar. And I think, and I'll do it again next week. We'll look and see who's in the top 100 after 2 weeks, after 3 weeks. We'll do it after the quarterfinals. And I can almost guarantee, because I've been studying this for 5 years, and it's been the same for 5 years, that European women, and now men, if we flip over to the men's one, it's just as close, if not closer, are just as good as the top North American women and getting close on the men's side. But because we're using a system that that reflects on something that has nothing to do with competition, it's going to be really difficult to impossible for them ever to earn spots in this system. I believe that CrossFit will have to change this after this year.
Holy shit. South America had more dudes than Oceania had in the top 100 in this workout.
Yeah. And I would say this, that, and I mean, it might piss some people off, whatever, but South America regularly does very well on online tests. And that's the reason that they
you're saying they're cheaters.
Well, they have a lot of documentations of people cheating down there. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Like there's more historical documentation. No, it's facts. Documentations of that than others, especially relative to the amount of people doing it or like participating. But that's the reason that CrossFit will give that they can't put a lot of weight on the open and the quarterfinals, is because it's impossible to monitor how many people are actually doing these things to the letter of the law. And as we've already seen through week 1, that is also true. So I'm not saying that we should exclusively use the open and quarterfinals. I'm just saying they're actually a decent representation of the competitive landscape. I think a better representation than the worldwide rankings actually are.
Jay Hartle gets most of his drugs from South America. Sevan, don't you go and lose Brian for us. All right. Brian, fantastic graphics. Beautiful work. Thank you for your contribution to the show. As always, you've outperformed JR 10-1. Okay. Anything, JR, don't go anywhere. Please. I mean, we need you for a couple more minutes. Why do you always have to go, JR? What are you doing? You got to put kids to bed, or you got to wake up at 4?
Going to sleep. It's 10:15 there. You got to run the gym.
What time you got to wake up tomorrow?
I'll be up about 6.
Oh, that's not bad. Me too. But it's 3 hours earlier here for me.
That's correct.
Okay. Any other graphics before we really start picking JR's brain? Do you think that when the show goes late, JR, you become worse to it, like doing your Nostradamus crystal ball shit?
No, see, what happens is I get, contrary to what people may think, I'm really, really focused and into what we're talking about. So when I get done, I can't go to sleep. I've got to like wind down for an hour and then I'll fall asleep.
Oh, like a cigar and a whiskey.
Like
Or like that guy was doing at the 23.1 announcement in his pocket.
Like an apple with peanut butter and honey in it.
Such a CrossFitting dork. I love it.
Hey, top 200 in the world. It's not on accident.
That's pretty cool. That was Greg always had peanut butter and cut apples in his fridge in the years I lived with him. That was like the nighttime snack. And do you do berries and heavy cream?
No, I can't do dairy.
Frozen berries and heavy cream. So good. Okay. Were there any other graphics that we needed to go over? There were beautiful graphics. I didn't want to miss any of those.
The only other one I sent was just the notable athletes out for the season since the last time we did the power rankings. Several people had asked me for that on Instagram, so I just put it together real quick. And there might be others, I'm not sure, but these are the ones that have announced that they won't be competing in this season. I know Christy did do the open workout, but she said that she'll do the open and nothing else this year, so we'll see. And the rest of them will be out this year, mostly for injury, or I guess partial retirement would be the best.
Cara Saunders, Haley Adams, Christy Oramo, Lucy Campbell, Sung Young Choi, and of the men, Travis Mayer, Baden Brown, Cedric Lapointe, and Dre Strom. Sevan, where did you place? I didn't even come close to doing the workout, or never even thought more. I never even thought.
But now that you know there's a short stature division, maybe you'll sign up next year.
I'm not short. I'm not that short. I'd like to, but I'm not that. I would be cheating for me.
I
still couldn't beat any of those dudes either. If they have a fucked up back division, I'll enter that. How come Katrin wasn't on your list? How did Katrin do? How did Miss David's daughter do? I never even thought about signing up, just so you know. How did Katrin do?
Don't know. I don't know how she did. Probably should have been on there. I'm guessing for the non-impressive since I didn't see her at all.
How come? How did Annie do? I watched Annie's video. How did she do?
She did fine. She was 37th. Fine.
Oh, that's good.
Sarah was pretty impressive, 15th, but she often does very well in the open, and I have a feeling that she's going to have a good season.
Oh, good. That would be awesome. She's a regular on the show, Sarah Sigmund's daughter.
Always welcome. She's awesome.
Matt Kramer, we'll have to watch back later. This trio is fire. Thank you. $2 from Australia. Is that your mom you're with? Is that a little kid and his mom?
Thanks for showing the graphics, though, because that's what I spent my whole day doing.
Dude, they're so fucking great. Okay, let's go. High from 30,000 feet. Flight Wi-Fi is not strong enough to get video. It's just JR standing perfectly still. Okay, 23.2. One workout done. 2 workouts left. This is where Brian inserts. Well, we don't know if it's 2 workouts because they could always
2 weeks remaining.
2 weeks, yes. JR, Mr. Howell from CrossFit Crash, tell us what are you thinking for week 2? What are some of your thoughts?
I think that for a lot of people, like well over 90% of the CrossFit community that did this workout, it was limited by a skill, maybe by the chunk of 50 toes to bar. It was limited by the ability to do ring muscle up. So by the time you got there, you really weren't in a lot of pain. You were just in a lot of frustration. So I think this week is going to be simple, brutal, discomfort start to finish. I'm thinking maybe on the shorter side, like 7 to 9 minutes. And then I think we might do something long on the last week just to kind of change it up a little bit. But I think it's going to be something really simple. I think jumping over something, whether it's a line, whether it's a dumbbell, whether it's a box, and then possibly I think it could be something like burpee box jump overs and shuttle runs, just something awful.
What and no machines this week?
Well, the only machine on the equipment list was the rower, so there won't be any machines. But yeah, I think bounding is a good possibility, whether it's with a jump rope, whether it's over a box, whether it's over a bar or a dumbbell. I think that just having a gas.
Do you think we'll see outside of a bar facing burpee that has a bar on the ground? Do you think we'll see a barbell at all this week?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think we're going to see anything loaded. I think there's not going to be any weightlifting movements. No kettlebell, no dumbbell, no barbell.
JR, why not that workout? Isn't there some workout where you do some thrusters and then you get a certain amount done in a minute, and then the next minute you have to do death by thrusters? Why not something like that? So some people get 7 minutes, some people get 15 minutes.
I think we were in the front rack last week. I think with wall balls last week. I can't see thrusters happening this week.
Death by shuttle runs.
That's a Sherwood linchpin classic.
I've done that workout a ton of times. It always does the trick.
It's actually called the beep test for those who are in the real world. Who aren't in the
You're just
CrossFit
so
club.
involved in the public schools. That's so.
And this is something maybe a little bit ironic.
Hey, they
but
should do the beep test. CrossFit should do the beep test. Go ahead, JR. Sorry.
Too many ties, unless you're going to do like the first, I don't know, once you hit a certain minute, then you have to do whatever remaining as an AMRAP or something.
Good
like
point. Like usual, you're right.
If you look at the open announcements, Pat has done, he's done 17.1, which was burpee box jump overs and dumbbell snatches. He's done 19.4, which was a couplet of barbell snatches and bar facing burpees, a mandatory rest, and then bar facing burpees and bar muscle ups. And then he did last year's 22.1, which was dumbbell snatches, wall walks, and box jump overs. So Pat has done open announcements, all with getting off the floor in some capacity. Some might say burpees in all of them, even though I know wall walk isn't. And then he also was supposed to do shuttle runs last year, but instead they did box jump overs. He's done snatching in all of them, and dumbbell snatching in 2 of them. So I don't know. I mean, they may have picked him like joke's on you, dude. We're gonna keep giving you the same movement combinations, but
Trisha, Pat Vellner's an athlete, and Pat Sherwood is an announcer, buddy. Don't worry though. Your questions are all you're all welcome here. You're always welcome here. So do you know have they announced that Sherwood's being part of the open announcement this week?
No, someone put a comment about CrossFit Lynchman's programming, and then the comment section just picked it up from there. And then Trish definitely knows the difference, right in line with the character of the person.
Okay. Okay. And if it is a workout like that, did they pick the right 2 athletes to showcase it?
I can't think of any 2 athletes that I would want to watch just go deep into the pain cave than them two. They're two guys that really don't show a whole lot of facial expression either when they're in a lot of discomfort.
And if you think about those 2 athletes, the one thing that would typically be a big separator for Vellner in favor over Krennikov would be ring muscle ups, which we're not going to get. And the one thing that would be an obvious separator for Roman over Pat would be the rower, which we're not going to get. So it's a pretty high likelihood that this is going to be a very competitive battle between the 2 of them.
And tell me what the movements were again. Shuttle run and something over a box, back and forth over a box. So like one shuttle run and then some like jumping over a box 5 times, repeat.
Like last year in the team quarterfinals, they did line facing burpees and shuttle runs. That was the couplet. And it was like mid-teens to 20-minute workout for most teams. And it was just brutal. Nothing but running and burpees. And while I don't think they'll do the line facing burpee, because I think that could be really difficult from a judging standpoint, depending on what the standards would be. I think doing something like a burpee box jump over that we've seen in the open a lot, as well as box jump overs, that with shuttle runs, as far as setup goes, simple. As far as stimulus, easy. I mean, it's just going to get you from the start to finish. And it should be fun to watch.
It will be fun to watch. I was just going to say that we'll get to see them go side by side and second by second, see who's waning.
I didn't think that we would see shuttle runs this year after they were supposed to be in all 4 stages of competition last year, even though they got taken out of the open. So I guess some people would argue that most of the community has never done shuttle runs in a competition setting, online or in person, unless they've done a local comp. I don't know. I can just see him coming back.
Ricky declined. Oh no, not this. Ricky declined the invite. Do we know that the Ricky Garrard was invited and didn't make it?
Yeah, and it would be crazy for him to come. Honestly, it's such a long trip for such a short amount of time. So
who would he have done it with? With Pat or with Roman?
I think Roman.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, nice to invite him, rightfully to invite him, but I think very understandable that he didn't come, and I hope that doesn't preclude them from inviting him in the future.
Overhead walking lunges.
Well, look, I think that JR's on the money with a couple of things here. I expect this workout to be extremely accessible, like more of what we would expect in a week 1 of the open workout. And I don't think that there will be a barbell. I mean, I know that we didn't really talk about it at all, but the 30 cleans in that workout are no joke. And like most everyone was doing at least 20, if not all of those cleans. And I think that if Adrian will put 2 barbells in the open, they won't be on back-to-back weeks.
All right. Any information on week 3? Do we know who the fighters are?
I've heard some rumors, but nothing official yet.
Mr. Howell?
I've heard nothing. No rumors.
And week 2 is in New Jersey. Do we know where week 3 is?
Same answer for me. I've heard rumors, but nothing confirmed.
Okay, so they keep kind of all that stuff on the down low?
Yeah. I mean, there are certain people that need to know, the athletes that are coming and, anyone who's flying there for the open announcement. But outside of that, I think that they've intentionally tried to keep the third one pretty quiet.
If Roman wins this, well, first of all, Pat Vellner likes an audience, right?
Definitely.
And if Roman wins this, do you think that this is falls in line with the kind of the changing of the guards here?
I guess. I mean, especially in light of the graphic we showed earlier with how many consecutive, Metcons in the open Pat has outperformed Roman on, and now Roman's got him on the last one. So if he gets him in 2 in a row, then you could certainly write that storyline. I think what's going to be cool is, anywhere these 2 guys go right now, they're fan favorites. But, if you're there in New Jersey or if you're watching at home, it always is like this. Like at some point in the middle of the workout, you're going to find yourself rooting for one or the other, and you might not know who that is right now.
What about clues? Has Dave put out a clue again? Was that really a clue last week? That was supposed to be a clue?
Yeah.
Is there? Can we check Dave's account? Is there anything posted? Is there a clue up there?
It's too early in the week.
When would it come? It would come on like Wednesday. Something to hype us up and get us ready for Thursday.
Did he put it out Wednesday evening, JR, last week?
That sounds right.
Oh, we could click here. I think it was Wednesday night.
Okay, so Thursday.
6
Thursday at noon on YouTube. Thursday at noon Pacific Standard Time. Is that going to still be the same time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. JR, anything else you want to say about week 2?
One other thing that is a possibility. I think Boz said on a street parking interview that there wouldn't necessarily be like brand new movements, but there may be like a wrinkle, or it may just be something that if you've been around for a long time, you see and you kind of have an moment, kind of like maybe like wall walks were. And I've talked to a lot of people about the possibility of him changing up the way you get to or you have to do a movement. Like the year that Dave said on the burpees, you cannot step up the burpee anymore. You have to jump both feet toward the hands. And people were getting so efficient at stepping up the burpee that he just took it away from him. So it's like, what if this year he's like, okay, cool. So when you do this burpee box jump over, you can't turn in the air anymore. So you have to land on the other side of the box in the same direction that you took off from. You have to land facing the box, and you have to take off facing the box, and you have to land facing the same direction before you turn around. Or if, just a small nuance like that, like to see, especially like Pat and Roman, to see them learn something on the fly, adapt to it. I mean, we saw people do it the first year with wall walks when Kerry Pierce was so impressive on it. It's like, gosh, how long has it been since you've done a wall walk? And now you have to do it to a standard. It's just something like that would be interesting.
Mind Blenderfy. CrossFit advice for guys with score like 182, 13, 29. I don't even understand that question.
He got 182 reps, and his split time for finishing the power cleans was 13:29. So he got those 2 muscle ups in 31 seconds. And obviously it probably had to take some time to traverse his 8 feet of distance to get to the rings, maybe chalk up his hands. So he basically just almost definitely did a set of 2 muscle ups right at the end. So probably the guy's better at ring muscle ups than this score reflects, but his fitness is not good enough to get him enough time to get there. So you either need a better strategy, but more, what I would recommend is if you filmed your workout, go watch it back and count how many seconds you're doing nothing, and then try to come up with a plan where you can move slower, but more of the time, and hopefully accomplish more work in less time, also while keeping your heart rate down. In that case, almost definitely people are doing sets that are just too big for them, and they have to take rests that are too big, and then the time slips away. 5 years ago, I used to do this, and I would watch half my open workouts, and I would spend more than half of the time. It was a 12-minute AMRAP. I would be spending 6 minutes and 45 seconds doing nothing because I had such a poor plan in my attack for the workout.
Well, I hope you're right, JR. I hope it's simple and I hope it's clean. And if there is a nuance, I hope it's not something. Do you remember that year when you had to do that weird measurement for your handstand push-ups? I hope nothing. I hope nothing like that happens. I hope it's like, I hope it's clean. I like this idea. Go ahead.
Another thing worth noting is some of the movements that have left the open due to like equipment and now have come back into the fray. Ring muscle ups were out of the open for a couple years in a row. 2020 was the last time they were programmed, and then they took them away due to some of the limitations people had in their gym, or maybe not even being able to get into a gym with COVID and everything going on. And then they came back this year in the first week. Handstand push-ups have gone away, and instead we've had wall walks the past couple years in the open. Maybe they come back into the fray. So just some things to think about, like some movements maybe that have kind of taken a little hiatus that we might see come back in after a couple of years of not being there.
What about double unders this week?
Well, he mentioned bounding with a rope is a good possibility.
And like I said, I think the show last week, I think we're going to do single unders in the open. I think good. I think it might be in a progressing manner, like Brian's workout that he kind of predicted, that was like you have an easier dumbbell movement and like a box jump over, and then you have a more difficult dumbbell movement with a burpee box jump over. Maybe you do the same thing, but have single unders in the beginning for the first few rounds and then double unders at the end.
Yeah,
God,
I really like that.
I like it. I think I'm going to be disappointed if it's anything besides what you said. I'd really like the idea of them both starting on one side, doing a shuttle run. We get to see them run side by side, come back, and do some bounding and then go again. And we'll just see right away when someone passes someone. And final question: why so short? Why 7 to 9 minutes?
Because I think sometimes if you want to govern intensity, you don't make it so long to where you can pace. And I think something we know about Boz at this point is sometimes he wants to take that away from you. So if you have something that's short, you have no choice but to push the pace on everything and just let it hurt for the whole time.
And then why not give them then, if it's going to be that short, a 2-minute rest or 3-minute rest, and then have them lift something heavy?
I think that would be something that no one's expecting this week. So if he did it, I think it would be cool. And I think a lot of people would love to be able to go heavy and do like a max snatch or a max complex or something like that. Any kind of ladder. I mean, looking at old open workouts, they had the deadlift box jump ladder. All those kind of workouts, I think, are some of people's favorites.
And I do think that we'll get a shorter workout. I just think it's going to be on the last week. I think this will be the long one. There's almost always a 20-minute workout. I've messed around with the idea of it being, a workout and then a lift that equates to 20 minutes on the floor. But I think that there's also a good chance that we get a 20-minute AMRAP or time cap. But if it's a time cap workout, it's one that even the pros are taking 15 minutes to finish style workout. I think it's more likely to be an AMRAP though. And I think we'll get a short one on the last week.
Awesome. Anything else you guys want that we didn't cover? Just so you guys know, this morning the show was pulled down by YouTube. That's weird. But we did get it.
Do you know why?
No, well, kinda. It was a big show. It had 1,800.
Don't talk about it here. We don't want this one getting pulled down.
No, it won't. This one, I already put in a request to review this one, even though the show's not over. But the show is back up. We got it cleared up, the problem. And it was a good show for me.
Who handles that? Is that Sousa's job?
Well, it's mine. Whoever can get to the computer the fastest. Me, Caleb, and Sousa all noticed it at the same time. Like, oh, shit. That was too bad. It was such a great show. Okay. Anything else, JR, you'd like to throw in the mix?
No, I'm excited to see what the workout is.
Thursday, after the announcement at some time, JR and Taylor and myself and Mr. Hiller should be coming on, and Andrew should be doing the workout live. I don't think I've heard. Did Hiller confirm that he's doing that, JR?
As far as I know, he's still doing it.
Oh, shit. The power just went out at my kid's tennis camp. Okay, good. Did I say that out loud? I didn't mean to say it out loud. Okay. Brian, thanks for being on. Thanks for the great graphics. You guys have fun on between now and Thursday, but to keep you busy in between then and now and then, check out our show tomorrow morning live at 7 a.m. We also got Josh Bridges scheduled for Friday morning. That should be fun. Haven't talked to him in a while.
He put up a post about 23.1, and several athletes put up similar posts saying that they improved their score, even though they don't think that they're fitter. And this is a good, a little tip to that guy who was asking about his open performance. And what they followed that up with, I've just gotten more efficient. I've become more efficient with my movement patterns or my breathing patterns or just understanding workouts better. And there is, without a doubt, something to be said at every level for someone who's been doing it for a long time.
That doesn't even make sense to me. Does that make sense to you, JR?
Yeah.
For an exercise that has this many different movements that you could get a better score and not be fitter and less fit.
For sure.
I mean, dude, just all you have to do is go watch the first 10 seconds of the open announcement between Josh Bridges and Scott Panchik. They are literally just ripping on the rower to get it started. And it's like, whoa, you guys got 14 minutes. Like,
gotcha.
Take it easy.
Okay. All right.
That
Good,
one
good. That's exactly what I was looking for. Something to look at. Okay. All right, guys. It's over. See you in 11 hours and 23 minutes. Oh, Caleb. Hi, I almost forgot about you. Have you been there the whole show?
No, only the last 5 minutes.
Oh, good. Nice of you to show up. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Buenas noches.